is heavily taxing fuel, the reason why it is where it is, whichever you want to look at it. And many say, even as we talk about petroleum development levy, we want to talk about road maintenance levy, Kenyans are asking the question, where is the value for money? Because you just have to drive across Nairobi today to look at how roads are dilapidated in Nairobi, and you ask yourself, where is this road maintenance levy going to if we are seeing potholes on our streets? One is asking the question again, Wakili, if we are comparing ourselves as a middle income level, and you have to look at our peers in terms of fuel, if fuel is cheaper in Egypt, a middle income with a greater economy than Kenya, you talk about Nigeria, fuel is cheaper in Nigeria. You go to other mid-level countries with better economy than Kenya, and fuel is cheaper in that country. So when even the president himself is giving that excuse or is giving that explanation that we must compare ourselves with our peers, still Kenya comes up top. Why is it that these lower hanging fruits, that is the driver of economy, is where the government is going in? Do they even mean what they say when they talk about we will address cost of living and inflation if all they do is tax more the driver of economy?
Aseto, one, as I answer your question, I would want to, remind Dr. Mbai that they need to, get to their situation room and do more thinking, that they will not, establish a government in 2027 through manufacturing, outrage and grievance. It needs to govern a country requires more. I will still insist that Dr. Mbai needs to come to the public platform with alternative logic. The other thing I would want us to take note of as we discuss this is that there are road construction going on across the country, even today, and that even in Nairobi. Part of the reason why I delay a little is because I had to maneuver through a construction site.
Where?
Next to Serena. Yeah, and this has been rolled out across the country. The government, the president just committed 80 billion shillings to Nairobi County to improve infrastructure in Nairobi to respond to Nairobi's needs. The other thing that we need to take into consideration is that Kenya is the largest non-mineral economy in Africa. The economies you've talked about, Egypt and Nigeria, and oil-producing countries. And even though Nigeria is an oil-producing country, I want you to look at the data that is available in the public purview. Fuel has gone up in Nigeria by between 50 to 70%, higher than the percentage increase in this country. My point is that as we move, going back to the topic of the day, as we move to 2027, Kenyans are definitely going through a painful process. But then this government is offering, a logic that will, in the long run, be able to... Is
the government the reason why Kenyans are going through a painful process today in terms of cost of living as a result of taxes that have been levied on them?
Not really. The challenge is that we have previously had leadership that have failed us. One of the leaders that Dr. Mbai and his team in the opposition keep celebrating is Uhuru Kenyatta. Lied to Kenyans, and for me, that's the issue. That this president becomes frank to Kenyans and tells Kenyans what is happening. Lied to Kenyans that he gave us a subsidy.
But William Ruto was deputy president.
Just listen to me. Just listen to me. Let's not get on the rhetoric.
He was the deputy president.
Yes,
number
but
two to
you
the
know
president.
that in 2022,
and at the time when Uhuru Kenyatta is accused of lying, William Ruto, who is the truthful master, would have called him out.
Could you allow me to
even
finish the point before you then counter it? The point is that as of 2022. In reality, William Ruto was not part of government. He was not. Uhuru Kenyatta was governing without William Ruto, and that Uhuru Kenyatta fraudulently told Kenyans that he had reduced the cost of fuel by giving us, subsidies. In reality, those subsidies were never paid. They were just piled. So this government had to pay for those subsidies. So as you talk about, we need to know that Uhuru Kenyatta, piled up certain debts that this government has to pay. The Auditor General flagged out 500 billion shillings worth of Eurobond that never hit the Kenyan economy, so basically, we need to appreciate, but part of the problems that this government is dealing with, which has in reality made governing expensive and life painful, is the fraudulent past that we have dealt with, and that the fraudulent part that Kenyans must not allow us to go back to. That when we come to 2027, Kenyan will, in reality, look at the development track record of this government, the clarity of the path that the president is offering, the unity and national outlook, and the diversity of the development programs, as opposed to what the opposition wants to take us back to, that is ethnicity, rhetoric, lying to Kenyans and promising heaven and delivering nothing, and thinking that they could then govern through protest. Protest don't govern. Protest, as we know, will just increase the pain, and that unfortunately for the opposition, what they would wait for is the next pain point, the next difficult moment for Kenyans, rather than offering Kenyans how they can improve and give an alternative to what President William Ruto is giving. Basically, what I'm trying to say as I finish is that this government will continue to have the only plan that can save this country from crisis, as opposed to the opposition that will continue making noise. We'll continue wishing that there is another issue every other week that they can mobilize Kenyans to protest, but they will offer no alternative.
I think you're not communicating. Let me just summarize this, please. Wakili has spent all his time talking about us, alternative logic and all that. Let me be very clear for the purpose of our viewer. I want us to be very, very simple. Number one, he's talking about how we want to